Right now we're going to start working on an easy tuna salad. The ingredients that you need: 1 can of chunk light tuna in water. You can find tuna in oil, but it's a lot healthier if you find it in water. This can is 5 ounces, but you could get a bigger can. They usually come in 7 ounces or 12 ounces, so you could make more at once if you wanted, and you would just increase the amount of ingredients, and I'll show you in a minute. Then you need some mayonnaise. I prefer the Kraft mayonnaise with olive oil because it's healthy and I love the flavor, but any mayonnaise will work. You could even use Miracle Whip if you wanted a sweeter tuna salad. Then you're going to need dill relish. Again, you could use sweet relish if you wanted, but I prefer my tuna salad on the saltier side. Then you're going to need pepper, regular salt, and I also like to use a little bit of celery salt, but if you don't have celery salt, it doesn't matter, just use regular salt. Okay, so what you're going to start doing is open the can of tuna. Once you have the tuna lid open, what I like to do to get out the water is simply use the lid in the sink, and I push down like this on the tuna can so that the lid goes into the can and it squeezes out the water. If you lose a little bit of tuna in the process, it's no big deal. Once you've squeezed out the tuna, the water from the tuna can, it looks like this. You can see how it's kind of pressed in on one side because that's where I pushed the lid in. And again, if you lose a little bit of the tuna in the sink, it's not a big deal. The next thing you're going to do is take a fork and just scrape the tuna out into a bowl. Again, it can be any bowl, it doesn't matter. Alright, so we've just scraped out the can. Tuna is in the bowl. Next, you're going to take some mayonnaise. And the mayonnaise is, I would say, approximately 1 tablespoon per 5-ounce can of tuna. But I never measure, because what I like to do is get the tuna looking kind of wet, but I don't like a lot of mayonnaise in my tuna salad. So the thing is that you could add as much mayonnaise or as little mayonnaise as you want. I'll show you what I add. So for that 5-ounce can of tuna, I'm going to add about this much mayonnaise. You can see it's kind of like a heaping forkful or a heaping spoonful. Alright, so it's about 1 tablespoon. But the trick with the tuna, now what I'm doing is I'm mixing the mayonnaise into the tuna, and the reason I like using a fork is because I like to be able to push the tuna around like this. And the fork has holes, so the mayonnaise kind of goes through the holes and spreads really well. Alright, so I'm just mixing up the mayonnaise in with the tuna. Alright, so then the tuna looks like this. Okay, you could add more mayonnaise if you like it. The next thing you're going to do is add some dill relish into your tuna mixture. Again, this isn't an exact science. Some people like a lot of pickled flavor, and some people only like a hint of it. But again, I don't measure. I just kind of eyeball it. So half a tablespoon to a tablespoon. So this is what I'm going to add. Okay, this is what I'm going to add to my tuna salad, and again, just mix it right up. So now our dill relish is mixed up into the tuna salad. Finally, we're going to add some spices. I like to start with pepper because it's easy to see. So I'm just going to shake a little bit or grind a little bit of pepper on. And I don't put a lot in. Pepper makes it kind of spicy, and I'm not a huge spicy person, but it adds a nice flavor. So I just cover the top of the tuna salad with a little bit of black pepper. After you mix in your pepper, you add a little bit of salt. I like to start with just a couple of shakes of celery salt. So just so that it barely coats the top of the tuna salad. You can barely see it because it's kind of brown looking, but there's a little bit on top. I mix it up, and then I taste it, and depending, I might add just a little bit of salt at a time until it tastes as salty as I like it. And that's your basic tuna salad. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do with tuna salad. One of my favorites is to put it on top of spinach, and I use some mandarin oranges and almonds, and I eat it as like a leafy salad. You could also just put all this tuna salad on 2 slices of toast with some melted cheese and make a tuna melt. You could also just eat it plain. So there's your first recipe, a simple tuna salad.